So check this out. I spent 3 hours on this pencil drawing of a forest path. I focused on expressing textures and details. The pine needles, the tree roots, the blades of grass. I'm pretty proud of this drawing. I think it's ready to be matted and framed. But then I had this idea. What if I tried painting the same landscape in watercolor? Could I really capture that same level of complexity in a medium that, let's be honest, a little untamable? Or would I just end up proving that some things are better left in black and white? I'm trying to create a one-of-a-kind diptych, which is basically a conversation between two mediums, a showdown between control and chaos. This is the story of a drawing and the painting it's about to become. Before we break out the paints, let's talk about where this all started. Pencil has always been my medium of choice, and recently I decided to work on a series of pencil landscapes. My goal here is really to see how far I could push a simple pencil. The scene itself, this quiet path in the woods, is a personal favorite. But objectively, it's pretty challenging for a pencil sketch. It's the kind of subject that makes you balance simplifying forms with conveying enough detail to make it realistic. It also makes you pay attention to light and shadow to make visual sense of this complexity. The whole thing was just about being careful with the direction, weight, and shape of strokes. It was an exercise in patience and precision. And that's really the heart of this whole challenge. For me as an artist, this drawing is pure control. Every single mark is deliberate. Now I'm about to translate that into watercolor, a medium that pretty much does whatever it wants. The big question is, can I still keep control, or will I get lost in the visual complexity of the scene? Okay, this is where the two processes go in totally different directions. With the pencil drawing, I started in the top left corner and worked my way down to avoid smudging the graphite with my hand. I touched every element once. With watercolor, you touch everything at once and go from light things to dark things. I'm going to kick things off by painting the background to set the overall mood of the scene. For a forest, that means getting the sense of filtered light and atmosphere. I'm starting with a technique called wet on wet. I'll wet the whole paper with clean water, and then I just drop in my lightest colors. Light blue for the sky, light greens for the trees, yellow for where the sun is hitting the greenery. This lets the colors blend and spread out really softly, which is perfect for making the background look like it's far away. The farther back things are, the softer and blurrier they look. As always, I'm doing a limited palette of 5 colors: ultramarine blue, primary yellow, cadmium red, permanent rose, and burnt umber. By mixing these, I can get all the natural greens and browns that I need. Right now it doesn't look like much. It's just soft, abstract blacks of color. And that's totally fine. The first layers are the foundation of color that all the shadows and details will be built on top of. It's the complete opposite of the controlled, predictable world of graphite. And if I'm being honest, it's both terrifying and exhilarating. By the way, if you've ever felt scared to try a new medium because you're already comfortable with another one, let me know in the comments. It's a super common feeling, and I'd love to hear how you dealt with it. And hey, if you're enjoying this process and want to see more challenges like this, think about subscribing to the channel. It honestly helps a ton and gives me courage to keep making these videos. Now I'm starting to build up the middle and the foreground. I'm using the colors and values that start to define the main shapes of the path, the roots, and the ground. I'm gradually switching to a wet on dry technique now, which just means I'm putting wet paint onto dry paper to get more defined shapes. And I want to be real with you, this is where I'm starting to question what I'm doing. Honestly, I'm getting a bit confused about all the colors. It feels like I went a little too vibrant, a little too soon. In the graphite drawing, there's no color, it's only values that I need to worry about. This is very different. I'm just going to keep building the layers and trust the process. And now it's time for all the little details. This is where I try to bring back some of that precision from the graphite drawing. but do it with a brush. I'm using a smaller brush and a thicker, more pigmented paint mix to add the darkest darks. These deep shadows in the foreground will create a ton of contrast and make everything else feel more three-dimensional. And here they are side by side, the finished diptych. On one side, we have 3 hours of controlled, methodical grayscale. On the other, a vibrant, fluid version of the scene in watercolor. That took me only an hour and a half. Looking at them together is really interesting. The pencil piece is all about the texture and detail. The watercolor, though, that one is all about flow, light, and all those happy accidents that happen when paint and water mix. Neither one is better. They're just two different ways of seeing the same thing. It was a good lesson that sometimes you can tell a richer story with two different voices instead of just one. So what do you think? Which one speaks to you more, the drawing or the painting? Let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks for hanging out with me on this little artistic adventure. Happy creating, and I'll see you next time. Bye!